In our society, we're used to junk paper. We're used to handbills, newspapers, office memos, food wrappers. That's why handmade paper makes such a pleasant impact on us. It's like comparing a Rolls Royce to a skateboard. They say that the paper in the Gutenberg Bible of 1450 has never been matched for durability. It's always a shock to feel the paper in an ancient book and find that it's in near perfect condition. It's strong, it's resilient, and fine handmade papers like silk or good leather, it feels strong. There are paintings and drawings from the 50s that are decomposing today in the 70s. But on the other hand, some of the old master drawings from the Renaissance are in nearly perfect condition. And that's the difference between handmade paper and most of the junk that's made today. So aside from the beauty of handmade paper, there's a practical reason for artists and craftsmen to use it. If they want their work to survive, they will have to use permanent materials. The ground is the part that we paint on, draw on, print on, really the working surface. And the more an artist learns about his work, the more important the ground becomes. The need of each artist is different. Some workers need smooth, untextured paper grounds. Others need a rough surface, sometimes called a tooth. In the case of fine handmade papers, the artist has a choice of color, texture, size, format, anything he wants. Helmut Becker is the head of a new paper-making department at the University of Western Ontario in London. He's a printmaker, he's a poet, but paper-making has become all-important to him. He's turned a lot of his working life over to it. He's a craftsman, like the men of the Renaissance.
I'm using a 100-year-old, at least, flax break to break the straw loose from the cellulose fiber.
Start with the flax itself. It's been hand-pulled, sun-bleached. You scrape away the outer coating with what's called a scutching knife. Only the long bundles of fiber are left. And the long and the short fibers are separated by pulling them through a flax heckle. The Hull Hollander paper beater is a specially designed machine that crushes and prepares the flax, the linen, the hemp, the cotton for handmade paper. Various materials, depending on what quality you want, are cut up and dropped into the water and flax mix. The beaten fibers with the water added are shaken into a vat, and then the decal mold is plunged into the vat, scooping up some of the mixture. And then with a very deft stroke, the paper maker levels the whole mix to the thickness he wants. Most of the water just falls through the screen.
A little back from the center and get it partway and let it roll across the screen, and I shake it toward me and also to the side.
This wave action that we talk about is sometimes called a vatman stroke. The purpose of it is to interlock the fibers, which of course makes for strong paper. Our modern wood pulp paper is short fibered, so it tends to break down very quickly.
Lift the decal off of this. I have to be careful when I move this across so that I don't have that drip on.
So then the decal is taken out of the mixture and quite quickly turned upside down on absorbent wool blankets. This procedure is called couching, literally bedding down the paper.
I place it, so I set it down like this, and I I grasp one side of this, and with the rolling action,
the blankets grasp and hold together the interlocked wet fibers of the fresh paper. And then a number of fresh wet sheets, a post, are gathered and put into a hydraulic press. And the water is squeezed out of the paper under quite high pressure. It's surprising how much we take paper for granted. Even artists today often don't care about the paper they work on. They don't pay that much attention to the grounds. But it's like music. A fine, well-made instrument sounds better than some assembly line instrument. It's the same with paper. Some pretty ordinary drawings or prints would really sing on the right paper. Good drawings can become even better drawings if they're done on a fine ground.
I could get a varying quality in the paper depending upon where I stopped. At 50 tons pressure, which the press is exerting now, I get a softer textured paper. That's 90 tons pressure at that point. Any excess water on the edges here, I'll just wipe away. Otherwise, when I release the pressure, the water will just simply be absorbed back. There. As the paper dries, the excess water will continue to be driven out. It will evaporate out. Nevertheless, the dried paper will retain about 5-6 percentage points of water.
The last step is to peel away the fresh new sheets of pressed paper from the wool felts and dry them. Then they can be set on fiberglass screens or stacked one on top of another and put under sustained pressure for a while. So now they're dry and you have beautiful, strong, handmade paper. Good artists always have a feel for paper. They look at it hard before they start to work on it. They wait for the paper really to talk to them. Sometimes something in the pattern or the color of the surface suggests what the work will eventually be. The very subject rises out of the material. So in this sense, there's a constant dialogue between the artist and his paper. Da Vinci used to talk about observing accidental shapes like stains on plaster and so on, and creating from these shapes. Handmade paper confronts you with a physical presence that invites you to go to work.